Hi everyone, welcome to the Mad About You YouTube channel. I'm Madeleine and this is episode 82. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I join you on today, the Gobi Gobi Kabi Kabi people of the Sunshine Coast, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. This is my podcast update YouTube video vlog thing for the months of, it's the second half of April, all of May, and today is Saturday the 7th of June 2025. We celebrated the 7-year podcast anniversary. I think that's the right words. I don't know, podcast anniversary back in May. I think it was the 18th of May was like my official, no, that was too, maybe like the, let's go first week of May. I remember I uploaded my first video. I recorded my first video on the 18th of April, and then that one got archived, I think, and then I properly started the channel in May of 2018, and boy, life has changed a lot since then. If you are new here, welcome very much. Oh my god, I'm out of practice. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. So this is my channel where or my little corner of the internet, and I like to talk about my crafting. I like to talk about what I'm reading, watching, listening, and crafting encompasses a lot of different types of crafts these days. I have bookbinding, knitting, crochet, sewing, and that's kind of the main ones I've got going at the moment. Yeah. I think, yeah, so I said this is episode 82. I actually, to be honest, don't remember what I had and hadn't cast on last time I saw you, and I haven't been great at updating my Ravelry, but I have my iPad with me and I'm going to talk you through a few different things today. We do not have any new finished objects, but we do have some works in progress. I have some acquisitions of the non-yarny variety. I have a few things that I'm excited about talking to you about, and yeah, I think last month I went to from having zero, almost no like works in progress on the go to about 4 at the moment, which are getting into an occasional amount of love. I think this next upcoming school holidays I don't have any trips planned, and so my plan is to try and get some actual crafting done. I've got a lot of like housey life admin stuff to do as well in that time. Anyway, that's another topic. We're all over the place. This needs to be renamed the Hot Mess Podcast, but let's get a start on works in progress. Alrighty, last time I saw you we talked bougie blanket. I'm actually a terrible make-along host, but I'm supposed to be hosting the bougie blanket make-along this year, making any blanket pattern, knit, crochet, whatever, yarn craft, or any craft really that you could make a blanket with, that you could come up with. And it's the halfway point. I honestly thought I'd be finished this project this year, and I was on such a roll, but I've got a few other things on the go now that are distracting me. I'm also worried that my focus settings are not right. Anyway, it is what it is. Okay, sorry, distracted. Bougie blanket. The pattern I chose, and sorry if you've heard this about 70 million times at this point, is the Zigzag Zen blanket. I will put the designer's details on the screen here. It's a really fun pattern. It's modular, kind of log cabin-y, if you've done that in a crochet project. Now, I'm using yarn from a Friend Vent Advent calendar from 2022, and I'm also using a contrasting color by Bendigo Woolen Mills. The color is Ghost. It is like a light gray with the blue, it's a cool gray I would say, with a blue-ish undertone. And I probably haven't done a whole heap since you last saw it. I think I was still waiting on the 4-ply yarn to arrive, because what has happened is I have gotten through, I think, the first 8 sections, or I might be on section 8. I'm sorry, I'm so unprepared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, can't count today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm working on section 7, and I had run out of my DK weight yarn in the contrast color, and so my knitting group friends helped me come up with a solution, which was to marl the rest of the colors that I have left, which are these 2 in this section, with a strand of my main color, but in a 4-ply, so it will be marled. So the first half of the blanket's going to be really vibrant. How about I just show you? Really vibrant in my contrast color, because it's those colors held double. And now that we are onto this side, we are marling at this point, which is a bit of a bummer, honestly. I think the colors still work well. It's just going to be really vibrant and then kind of like a more muted towards the outside, but it's a journey. It was just a project. It didn't need to be, you know, making it as cohesive as possible. And this does seem to be working really well, which is great. The pattern is super easy to follow, and I have got the rest of my colors sorted out. So yeah, those 2 that I showed you before, and then the rest to finish it off are in this little bag here. So that is my main, well, it was my main project for a really long while, and then I cast on 2 other things while I was waiting for this yarn. So yeah, honestly no progress in the last 2 months really, except these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. You know what I think I might do tonight is, after I'm going to do some school marking, it's 2:16. So once I'm finished recording, I'm going to do a couple of hours of school marking of my grade 11s, and then I might knit on this tonight while I watch a TV show or perhaps a film. Who knows what we're going to do. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm using, it's in a Finch bucket bag, which was made for by my friend Paula Wessels, who has Dachshund Studios over on Etsy. She's in America, so buying anything, but sending stuff between here and America is pretty prohibitive at the moment, unfortunately, but it is what it is, I guess, isn't it? All right, so that's my biggest work in progress. The next one is my Plumpy Shawl. It's a pattern by Drearenee Knits or Andrea Mowry. I honestly don't think this has had much work on it either. I cast this on while I was waiting for that yarn to arrive, and the yarn for my other project, which I barely ended up using. Go me, what a waste of money. Anyway, so the yarn I'm using for this is La Bien-Aimée. I bought it in Paris back in 2019, so the year after I started this channel. And the reason I'm so far behind is because I realized I'd made an increasing mistake ages ago, and I basically had to rip back all of the brioche and do it again. I can't remember in the timeline of making this where that happened. So the pattern calls for a sport weight or a DK weight yarn. I'm using 3 skeins of fingering weight just because of what I had in terms of color, and the needles are a 3.5mm needle, so I've gone up half a needle size. Or have I gone down? Let's check the pattern, shall we? Yeah, so she suggests 3.75, and I've got a 3.5, so I've gone down slightly. Yeah, so that's fun. I honestly haven't really done a whole lot on it since we spoke last, but I did enjoy it while I was making it, and it will get some love later this year. I really haven't been prioritizing knitting, as you'll be able to find out, or as you'll see. I have a pair of socks that I cranked the tube for a while ago. Couldn't tell you where they are right now. I feel like it's on my desk at work because I'm trying to do a little bit of knitting at my lunch breaks, but I'm also trying to use my lunch breaks for work time, so I have less work to do when I get home. It's kind of like a work in progress. My last one, which I'm actually really excited about and probably will talk the most about, is my Stone Crop cardigan by Boyland Knitworks. Now, this is the pattern. I have one I prepared 5 years ago, like 6 years ago in 2019. And it is too small. I think I was in denial about my size in my body at that point. I knit it and the short rows all seem to go on my neck here. So this is actually, I've shown it and talked about it before. I wore it a lot at the end of 2019, but it's not right. So, but I love it. Most of the colors also are not in my color palette. Actually, the only one that isn't really is that mustard color. And I really enjoyed it. So I decided this year I wanted to make another one. I did an order to make up the postage from Bendigo Wool and Mills when I was ordering my 4-ply yarn. And I bought yarn for 2 projects. The first one is the Ewe cardigan. I talked about that. Oh, it's an Ewe vest, sorry. It's a full cable situation, Hohi Locatelli. That's like a future me, probably Christmas holidays cast on. But this one, I bought yarn for and then decided that I didn't like most of the colors and I went stash diving. So this is what we've got. The other thing, actually no, let's just talk colors first and then I will tell you what I've done, modifications. We are mid-round, but that's okay. Where is my beginning of the round? Here at that yellow, no, this green marker here is beginning of the round. Look at my floats. So this is it so far. It's on needles that are too small for it. If I had a try on cord handy, actually, I might do that. I know that they're around somewhere because I just lent some to my mum. There we go. All right, let's have a look. So these are called barber cords or barber cables. I got mine from Susan from Ash and Eve Designs, but you can buy them at most yarn shops, I would say, have them these days. And it's great for trying things on. We are not going to try this on because it's not at that point yet, but might be nice to be able to actually see it. So spread out, my little love, as long as you are stuck on there still. Spread out, spread out. Alright, so here's some yoke pawn. I love these colors. So the main color, or the dark blue here, is Bellissimo. It's a 4-ply held double. And this yarn is the same yarn I used to make my friend Ben's chemo beanie last year. It is the same yarn that I bought for my original stone crop, and I feel like 2 episodes ago I was here talking about how I want to make a stone crop cardigan. I'd swatched for it, etc., and then decided not to. Well, instead I'm making this. So I was craving some color work, and here we are. So that's that blue color. It's a 4-ply held double. The next color I have is a 8-ply. It's Bendigo Wool and Mills. I cannot off the top of my head remember. Oh, here we go, maybe. Or half the label is in the ball still. So approximately 400 meters. It is 8-ply. Yeah, this one is not being held double. Can't remember the color, but I can share that later. Oh, it's probably on my Instagram actually, or on my, what's that called? Ravelry. And then we have this hot pink here, which is a undercover on a single ply held double again, and that was from Stephen and Penelope. These colors are looking more vibrant with you because of better light perhaps. And then the other color is this light mauvey Wool and Vine yarns, which I got in a fibre share swap, either from, I think it was from Ricky, not Paula, but it was the same year, 2019, I think that happened. Oh, maybe it was 2018 actually, I did that swap. Anyway, these are my 3 like contrasty colours. Whoop. I love the 3 of them together. And then my main colour is obviously that lovely blue, which is just what I'm starting to knit on here at the moment. So in terms of the pattern, it is a paid for pattern, so I don't want to give, oh, I can just show you. I'm just starting this section here. So I really did enjoy the colors that I put in this one. And so the blue that I've chosen as my main color is actually quite similar. That was unintentional. Oh, I guess it was and wasn't. There is someone's Ravelry page who I have really liked the colors that they had chosen. And so I took that for inspiration. I did really like this green color, and I was trying to make this cost effective. So if I did buy yarn from Bendigo and then it ended up being warm, not cool for the pink, and then the other color I just didn't love how they were playing together. So I stashed over, and that's how I ended up with those other skeins, which will be fine. I don't know that I will have enough to do these fleas again in this middle section, but honestly I don't know if it's worth it either, just in terms of like having to pay attention. But I will make that decision in like 15 rows. The other thing that I'm going to do with this is extend. I'm actually unsure quite how that will work. But I want to extend these down slightly, because at the moment with how it sits is kind of like on my nipple line, and I think it looks a bit different, and I don't think it looks right, and I have quite a large bust, so I'd like to wear this to school, and I don't want to like draw attention there unnecessarily, whereas I feel like if I maybe knit another inch or so of these down, it'll just be a little bit more cohesive or less attention seeking to the bosom. The other thing that I've done differently is, you might notice that this actually has no neckline right now. I did a provisional cast on, and look, honestly, I'm hoping that this works. It's very fudged right now. I basically just ignored the short rows, cast on the number of stitches that I should have, because there's many issues with this project and this neckline. So the neckline that most people are producing is very different to the neckline that she has in her sample. If you look at the sample here, or if you look at no, you can't really see from that, but on the designer, on Caitlin Hunter, the neckline is really like relaxed, whereas this neckline is extremely high. Even if we ignore that I put my short rows off to the side here, the neckline is quite high. I'll see if I can find a photo of me wearing it from 2019 and insert that. But yeah, if you see there, and then that's what I mean, like my nipple is probably at that point, and I'm actually have gone up a size as well. So I think it's really pretty. I really love these colors, and I really should just get a wriggle on. I've been doing a bit of reading and just like rotting of an evening. I'm doing a lot of work actually, so I haven't really been knitting a whole lot, nor had the motivation, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. But I do really want to be able to wear this soon. So my thoughts are, I don't need any of these colors again, other than if I was to do they're called the fleas in the body, which would be this one and this one. I will weigh it and figure out meterage wise if I have enough to do it. But if I don't, it'll just be, once I get past that split for the sleeve, it'll just be like knit. And then there's just the ribbing on the bottom will be in the navy blue. So and then this is very cropped as well, and I don't mind a cropped shirt, like top, but I feel like I probably would knit an extra inch or two before putting the ribbing on, just so it looks better, or not better, even just like I'll have more options in terms of what I'm wearing it with. So that's my plan for this one. That's all my works in progress that I actually have with me that I can share, because my other little sock, honest to God, there's been no progress. So that's that. Oh, I didn't say what I'm wearing today. This is my Finch cardigan. I knit it 2 years ago. The pattern is by Savory Knitting, or Amy Christoffers. I have knit this twice now, almost. I've knit it once for me, made the same one for my auntie, except I knit this whole yoke section and got to like the arms and did the split in a little bit there, and then she finished it off. But I feel like I knitted it twice because I did a lot of that, and I did a lot of helping in the unfixing and the picking. And my mum's also made one. My mum is making a petite knit Friday vest. At the moment it is stunning, and I'm so proud of my mum. She's been a knitter, same as me, for a long time, I guess, but mostly knit stuff for us when we were little, or washcloths and whatnot. But this year, well, she started with the Felix cardigan, and then she said, do you think this pattern will be easy, like doable? And I knew it was a broken rib, so I was like, look, it will be fiddly, but I think it will be achievable. I didn't know because I'd never read the pattern obviously, and then she bought it and I was like, oh, it's a bit tricky, and then she has had to rip back significantly a couple of times just from some weird, like the pattern is just written in an interesting way, or she hasn't. You know when you read it, you know when you cook something or baking and you should read the recipe twice, and same how we say you should read a knitting pattern from start to finish before you start? Yeah, we didn't do that. So there's been a few like, oh, how do I fix this over FaceTime, but it looks beautiful and I'm really excited for that to finish and for her to wear it. So that's what I've basically been making, but I would say the making has been very intermittent. The amount of time that I read my Kindle Unlimited romance books, I'd probably have a finished jumper, but it's okay. It's not my priority right now. And I do have this nice, I have worn in the last, it's a bit cold now. This is my Radiate jumper by Hoagie Locatelli. I've worn my Boxberry, I have worn my Fanta Stitch once, and I forgot about my half and half wrap, but I feel like that will come to me for school next week because the mornings are a bit chilly and I'm like kind of in between. I don't really have my winter wardrobe sorted at this point. I'm just like in between clothes, but that is easier to wear a summer dress or summery clothes in the mornings, and then or like a t-shirty sleevey length, whatever. I'm sorry, words. That's works in progress. All right, I have an acquisition. It's not yarn related, but it's yarn adjacent. I was influenced by Susan from Ash New Designs to buy an electric winder. It's an electric winder by a brand called Kato. This is the large size, I'm pretty sure. It wound for me all of my yarn for this project, and I feel like it might have wound the yarn I used to crank into a tube as well. I did pull down the instruction booklet. I think, I vaguely remember pulling it up so that we could possibly talk about it, but maybe I'm sitting on it. I don't know. Is it behind me? No, I don't know. Anyway, brand is called Kato. I think it was about $100 Australian, including shipping. It came from Asia somewhere. I have scratched it up a bit, but I don't know how I did that exactly. It wasn't on purpose. It comes with it's USB-C powered. I'm in a tricky place in my room where this is set up that the power plug is behind the shelving, but my desk, which is a sit stand desk, is over here with the power board. So I've been running it off a power bank, and that has worked pretty effectively. And then like ultimately, would I love to have an electronic Ashford wooden winder contraption? Absolutely. Is that a reality for me anytime soon? No. So we have this. And it's good for the price. Like, I'm pretty stoked. I've used it for 4 or 5 skeins now. Is it as fast as me on my Ashford with a you know, umbrella swift? Probably not. But it saved I've like got an RSI kind of, or have previously hurt my shoulder because of too much winding on my sock machine. And then also before I made sure that I asked people to send me cakes of yarn, I used to have to wind their skeins into cakes and then wind them onto a cone and then put them through my sock machine. So my poor right shoulder was completely screwed. Anyway, I don't do that anymore. Most times I remember, and I'll say, would you mind please sending them in a cake, so that I only have to do 2 lots of like yanking on my, whatever this is, shoulder. I'm just gonna take a sip of my drink because my brain not working. All right, that is what we have made. What next to talk about? Got what I'm wearing, acquisitions. That is really, I've done some sewing, finished that in time. I would have shown you my Finch bucket for my mum that I made last time, I would say. If that went up on the 19th of April, it would have been done because Mother's Day I gave it to her in May. I'm so proud of that. I've got some project bags that I've been using quite frequently in this little pile here, and I've got a bunch of fabric, so I actually think what I'm going to do is make a bunch more of those Finch bucket totes. I've got the interfacing and stuff. I don't need them, so I might give one away as a prize for participation prize in my make along, or the Bushi blanket mal. I did have some people reach out to provide some prizes, like designers and stuff, and I was really excited when I started this, but my knitting has been off, like just not. Anyway, so maybe I'll do that. Otherwise I was thinking I could just put them on my Etsy shop and just sell them. I do this because I don't want to waste the fabric. I love a lot of the bags that I actually, you know what's a better idea? I probably need to just go through my knitting bags again, my project bags, and just have a big day where I put everything out on my floor and figure out what I've got. I'm just trying to also sort out the storage here because I'm not loving this backdrop anymore, and I just don't really know what I can do in this room. I would love a display cabinet again to display my finished knits, but I don't really know where I would put them. And so, you know, it's just a work in progress. Everything else in my house except my backyard is basically sorted now. So it's like, all right, let's make the craft room somewhere cozy where I actually want to craft again. Anyway, that was a complete digression. Life, what's been going on? Working still, which has been good. I spent the most of the morning on a 3-way video call with my sister and one of my cousins, because in September we're going to South Korea. My cousin and I are going to fly from Brisbane together and go to South Korea for a week, and then we were going to fly to Tokyo and meet up with my sister, and then we will spend 8 days together in Japan between Tokyo, Osaka, and then my cousin and I will finish in Hiroshima before heading home. It is the entirety of the school holidays. This holidays last year I spent 8 days marking, but I have less, my classes are different this time, so hopefully it will be less stressful, / just plan on taking or doing all-nighters basically until we go, so I don't have any holiday marking hanging over my head. Or if I do, it's just a little bit, like enough that I can do in a plane. Also don't want to take my work laptop overseas with me, so just, you know, fair enough. And also it's heavy, it's like another couple of kilos. We're flying Jetstar, you only get 7 kilos of hand luggage. So yeah, I feel like I've seen lots of people be going to South Korea and Japan recently. So if you've been and you've got any tips, drop them down below. But we've got a pretty good plan, at least Japan seems to be planned out. We've booked some hostels and hotel today, so that's really good. And yeah, I'm gonna do some knitting tonight. I really need to edit this as well, which will take me some time too. And I've rambled, so I think that's it. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's been nice to come back. I do feel guilty when I'm not crafting and then I have less content, but I still managed to talk for 30 minutes. So if you're still here, I really appreciate that. My other update is for those of you who care about my little kitties, Finn and Isabeau. They had some teeth out yesterday. They had some teeth out. Well, I took them in for their teeth clean 6 weeks ago, and then a couple of teeth needed to come out, but it was harder than they thought, so we've gone back in again yesterday. So Isabeau's just ended up with 1 extra tooth out, and they realized there's a little bit of bone that was a bit high, so she's the vet has filed that down, and little Finn has had it's a shameful amount of teeth that I'm actually not going to mention, but yeah, so they've cost me many thousands of dollars. And yeah, so that's fun. Lucky I love them, but they're recovering really well. The first recovery, like the recovery from the last one, was more much more worried actually. Like I had never experienced it before, whereas this time, and they were really off me for a couple of days, like doing the usual cats like retreat, stick to themselves situation, but this time basically Finn was a bit more loopy from the drugs, I think, and probably in more pain because he's had more teeth out this time than he did last time, but they've recovered really well. So it's like 24 hours, almost 24 hours since I've had them home. And so yeah, bless them little cherubs, I love them. So yeah, they're doing awesome. And yeah, actually in my list I need to organize a house sitter for my holiday in September. Okay, that is literally everything I have to talk about. If you are bougie blanket maker malling, make sure that you tag it in Instagram. I have been checking it on Instagram, like reposting things, but terrible at advertising, terrible at talking about it. It's the halfway point of the year. So maybe in the holidays I'll have some more time. The other thing that I had started to do was actually vlog, like making this jumper. And then I like completely got sidetracked by it because I was like so excited about the knitting. We did have a couple of mistakes where I had to pull back a few times on that too, but ultimately it's been pretty good. I'm nervy about putting the neck in. I've like read lots of people's what they've done on Ravelry, so hopefully that'll do it for me. Okay, I really rambled. Thank you so much for joining me. I will not promise to see you in the next month, but I mean maybe in the holidays. In 3 weeks time I'll have done a bit of crafting and I can share, or might vlog a week in the holidays or something, depending on how interesting life is. And otherwise I will expect to see you at the end of, what are we, May? This is kind of like early June. One in April, June. Probably like, let's go end of July, maybe end of August, which is a while away. In the meantime, stay warm, all cool depending on where you are. Happy making, and I will see you then. Bye!